Welcome to the British Football Comic Podcast, the number one football comic-based podcast. This is a Red Button exclusive edition. We were day trippers. Thankfully, it wasn't a one-way ticket. And oh, what we found out was not just comic gold in a Roy of the Rovers world. I tell you, joining me on this exclusive day trip was none other than Mute Button Matt, friends to the comic book stars himself. Mute, how are you?
I am really, really good. Thank you, Tangential One. Yeah, like really looking forward to this show because we know we had a brilliant day. Yeah, and we're just going to tell everybody about it. So yeah, really looking
Yeah.
forward to this.
Yeah, so a little bit of feedback. Mute has been doing his amazing stuff where he searches out all the friends in the comic book world. We call them the stars. And he managed to get in contact with Ian Vosper and Barrie Mitchell. And so we organised a day trip and we headed down to Portsmouth initially to meet Ian Vosper. I think you might share some pictures of that trip and we'll talk. So obviously for the listeners, we're just going to share some photos on the big screen in the studio. Nothing for you podcast listeners to worry about too much, but you YouTube viewers can enjoy this. So bit indulgent. It's just a selfie of myself and Mute there with Ian. You might notice some gold on the table, which I don't know, Mute. Should I? You can take
Yeah,
it from here.
yeah. So yeah, as Tangent was saying, so got in touch. This is through John Carrow, who's the guy who introduced us to Barrie Mitchell, the exhibition. And anyway, been exchanging emails with Ian. Said we're coming down to meet Barrie, going over on the ferry. Ian lives in the Portsmouth area, so I suggested, what about meeting up beforehand? So yeah, this is a picture of me and Tangential in a cafe in Portsmouth, but right by the Solent, by the harbour. And yeah, those books which you're talking about, Tangent, are record books, and I'll show you some more pictures of them. But essentially, these books kept the records of the authors, the artists, the letterers, the colorers, who was signed please every single week from 1976. This is up until 1990 when Ian left the comic. So I mean, yeah, it was just, I don't know, it was just mind blowing, wasn't it,
Yeah, it
Tangent?
was. It was just, I mean, all honesty, I mean, I think both me and Mute, we turned into children and we were a little bit rude to Ian, who was amazing company throughout the morning. But once we started flicking through these books, we both became mute. Let's just put it that way.
It was almost as if we said, didn't we? It's almost as if we thought we needed white gloves to kind of.
Yes.
It was like
Yeah.
museum artifacts. It was.
Yeah.
I've said it. It's like it was almost like the Roy the Rovers Rosetta Stone. There's some pictures of the covers there, and you see, you know, in a way, it's almost, it doesn't mirror exactly, but it's a bit like it. Ian's Time Traveller. He's showing season by season. It's got, it's
Yeah.
obviously broken into years, and you can see how old they are by the covers there if you're watching this on YouTube. And yeah, I mean, how many books was there? I think it's 12 books. I
There was
think. I think
12,
it's
there were 12 books, and like you said, I mean, it was amazing because when you first kind of flick through them, I mean, actually, in one of them, it also had a letter from the Press Association about,
Oh yeah.
images, and at the time how much they would cost. For the podcast listeners, obviously, I'll do a bit of description here, but there's another picture being shown on the screen for the YouTube viewers. But as Mute said, you've got down the left-hand side, you've got the name of each of the stories. To the right, you've got the date, but you've got the who was the script writer, who was the artist, who was the colouring and did the lettering. And then at the bottom as well, though, it would mention who was the sign, please, and any other kind of information that was in that week's Roy the Rovers. And as I say, this went across two A4 pages. I mean, it just, well, it's amazing because it's a few days after this. I certainly couldn't have done that and described it at the time because I was just in awe.
I'm looking at it now, and even now I'm looking at it, and so right down to the bottom it says, "No sign, please." That week. This is the 24th of December, 1983. So this is the Christmas issue. It says, "No sign, please." It's 3 pages photo strip. It's got Roy, Sharon Davis, Neil Adams, and any fans remember
Yeah.
the 1983 Christmas edition. But it's got all the details there, and this is handwritten. These are all handwritten.
Yeah.
I'll flick on because I know we need to move on. But the next page is actually from the very first book. So 25th of September 1976, and you see, and this is where you see kind of genius of Barry Tomlinson really, is that you looked at the script. He wrote the first script for The Hard Man, Millionaire Villa, Smith and Son, The Football, You Are the Star, Safest Hands in Soccer, Mike's Minimen. He did all that
Yeah,
down there.
just unbelievable.
And oh God, tangent, we could go through this forever, can we? And
Oh, yeah,
it's probably not great,
yeah.
not great podcasting. But I mean, anybody can see this on the screen, and I don't
I,
know
I
I don't know what we're going to do. We said we're going to obviously we stay in touch with Ian and see if there's some way we can digitize this information because this
yeah.
is just it's just absolute
It,
gold.
he's kind of, I think I know a lot of when we look on the Facebook groups and stuff. I mean, and we do talk about it. And as you rightly said, in all honesty, I'm not sure it makes the best pod in the world to kind of
No,
just
no.
read this stuff. But it is interesting. But this is like a bibliography of
Mm,
the Roy the Rovers comic from
mm.
those years. And I know so many of you that are listeners of the pod and people on the Facebook group. This is the kind of gold that everybody's been trying to research and look for themselves. So, as I said, and I do understand, but for those of you listening, this, trust me, is really worth a visit on YouTube. Not to see mine and Mute's faces, but definitely to
Oh,
get a
there's a
picture of these
picture of us
books.
at the end.
Yeah,
There's a picture of
yeah,
me and
yeah,
Tangent
yeah,
and Ian at the end
yeah.
as well because he took us up on off top of the ramparts down there by Portsmouth Harbour and showed us around before we went off. He actually jumped in the car and he showed us around to the ferry terminal, didn't he? For
He
us to
did indeed.
go and get the ferry. But I mean, I'll stop sharing now. But
Yeah,
what a
I mean,
morning!
what a morning. And can I just say, we wish we could share, but unfortunately, that's the benefit. He regaled us with some amazing stories of his history, not just in Roy the Rovers comics, but obviously telling us the stories of when he originally worked on Scorcher as well. And he worked for the FA. He mentioned,
Yes,
he's been watching the YouTube videos of the pod and he
yeah.
noticed
So
my
so
Rothmans
hello,
all there.
hello,
Yeah,
Ian.
yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He mentioned my Rothmans yearbooks that he'd spotted, although they're cut off tonight. I've adjusted my camera, but we chatted about that, and he worked on the FA programs. And well, let's just say some fantastic stories from Tommy Docherty to Kevin Keegan to Sir Alf Ramsey himself. Well, I will
It's just
just
an
never
absolute
forget.
legend. He's just an absolute legend. It's
Yeah,
just an
and
amazing morning. Yeah,
so
just a morning.
so friend. I mean, I'm going to say friendly and pleasing. Do not take this the wrong way because you were amazing company. But I feel so privileged that everybody we have had the pleasure to get on, and we do still call it our little podcast. We've all, everybody has been brilliant, and Ian just
Yeah,
kept that tradition going along. Amazing.
yeah, 100%.
So. And then Ian jumped in the car and he helped with directions to direct us to the Isle of Wight ferry. You've got some experience of the Isle of Wight.
Oh
What
yeah,
might have been waiting for us there?
yep. So we went over, we parked up, went to a pub, met Barrie Mitchell again. Well, for me, the second time. We had a lovely lunch.
Friend of the stars is our
Friend of
mute
the
button.
stars. Sorry, I'll stop name dropping corner again. Um, but yeah, it was great, and yeah, and as we're gonna show the guys the interview, it was brilliant.
Yeah. Well, as we say, so it was a fantastic morning. And then one of the main reasons we're going to head over now to that interview with Barrie Mitchell himself.
Okay, welcome to the British Football Comic Podcast. And we are in the home of probably the premier football comic artist, illustrator of all time.
Yeah.
He's getting, we're embarrassing him on camera, people that are listening as well. So it gives us great honour to welcome Barrie Mitchell to the podcast. Welcome, Barrie.
Thank you for coming over, Matt. And first time I've met Paul, second time you've been over.
Yeah.
And it's good to see you again.
Well, it's great to see you and to have your time to ask you some questions on your long illustrious career in illustrations going back. We probably won't. Well, we might touch on some of the years, but yeah. Look, could you just kind of just tell us how did you get started in the comic industry in that world?
Just always drew at school. The only GC I got English and art GCEs. That was all. And when I left school, I just wanted to draw, and my father had an off license, and one of the customers was an illustrator who illustrated Guinness. Guinness posters.
Yeah.
And my father asked him, would he know anyone, a studio? He said, well, the best thing is to get the Artists and Writers Yearbook. My dad got that, picked out the first studio, rang them, spoke to Doris White. Are you taking on any apprentices? She said, yes, we're looking for the next apprentice.
Amazing.
Made an appointment, went to the studio, which was in Charterhouse Street off Farringdon Road.
Yeah.
Smithfield Market.
Smithfield Market, yeah.
And had the interview. I said to them, I got GCSE in art. George Pashley said, we're not interested. If you can draw, we'll show you what to do. We'll teach you.
Interesting.
And they took me on. Started on the Monday morning. This 4 or 5 story building, and we had the top floor. It was next to Saffron Hill,
Right, yeah.
in Charterhouse Street. Pub on the corner, which I got to know quite well.
What can you remember the name of the pub? Because I know a few of the pubs around there.
I was never sober to know the name, I'm afraid. No, I didn't start, I was 17.
Yeah.
This was 1957.
Yeah.
And, I was there till 1976.
Wow.
Until I left the studio. And then the building was demolished, rebuilt, and that was the end of Link Studios in 1976.
Right.
That's quite a famous studios, wasn't there? There's quite a few famous apprentices there, weren't there?
Bill Mannering, Peter Clark, quite a few. And I was waiting at the door, and this lady came up and she said, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm the new apprentice. Oh, right, okay. She opened the door. She said, what's your name? I said, Jim. Up we went 4 or 5 flights of stairs to the top. She opened it all up, and her name was Dora Roderick, and she did all the girls, working for Girls Crystal.
Right, okay.
All the girls' stories. And then the next person to come in was John Burns.
Oh, wow, John Burns.
And because I didn't know then who he was or what all I knew was that he was an apprentice. And then Doris White came in. She ran the studios in partnership with George Pashley.
Mm-hmm.
And she said to the other ladies and whoever was there, this is Barrie Mitchell. And Dora said, he told me his name was Jim. My second name is James.
Right.
And I wish I'd been called James Mitchell, not Barrie. So anyway, that was the start.
It's a good way to start. Yeah. So you obviously there for a long time, but your apprenticeship. How long would your apprenticeship?
4 years.
4 years.
Yeah. I was 22, and I had done some work there's a company called Dean's.
Okay.
Dean's Books for young boys and girls.
Yeah.
And that's what they more or less trained you on.
Right. Okay.
Got you to work on. And then the first strip I had was Queen's Shadow in Bunty.
Yeah.
That was 1961.
1961. Wow. But would that been DC Thompson? Was that
DC Thompson, Bunty? Yeah.
So how did you get the work then? Was that they'd come to the
Well,
agency and then they'd
all the editors would come down to the studio, and they would keep an eye on the apprentices. There was John Burns. He was in front of me. Another artist who more or less finished his apprenticeship. He was actually working on girls' comics, and he left. We never saw him again. He just gave it up completely,
Oh wow,
which was really strange. He was a good artist. Tony Harding was after me. Mike Lacey was after Tony.
Yeah.
And I've forgotten his name. I've got the last one.
Yeah, okay.
And then we had quite a few apprenticeship girls and boys after that, but none of them stayed.
Oh wow, okay.
They would stay for 6 months, a year maybe, and then just go.
It wasn't for them, or what? Yeah.
So Tony, Mike, and this other chap, they were the last. After me, the last ones.
Oh, wow. And then, so you did the work for Bunty, didn't you? Just cover, like, obviously we're a football comic podcast, so we'll get to all the juicy football stuff. But didn't you, during the '60s, you did some stuff for Bonanza annuals?
I did Bonanza.
Yeah.
So, that was after Bunty. From Bunty, it's on a lot of sites where a chap called Dennis Gifford wrote a book on all the artists around that
it's a famous
time.
book, yeah, I can't remember, yeah.
And he put in that book that, if I could say this now, I did not draw the four Marys.
I've heard of this, yeah. It's on record, there you go, everybody.
John Freeman has got it off of Wikipedia for me. I didn't draw his lordship, and that's on there as well. And I think there's another one. There's 3 things that I'm supposed to have drawn, and I didn't. So I didn't draw the film. I married one.
Which one?
It is amazing because we often say,
and
it's difficult for people looking back because there was never any creditations in the comics themselves.
No.
So I wonder if people were maybe trying to match
Chinese
artwork,
whispers, isn't it, and stuff like that. Yeah.
Exactly, but it's amazing how things get attributed to your name that isn't actually your work.
I don't remember him asking me what I'd drawn.
So how did you find? Yeah, how did you?
It just. I mean, my style was nothing like the artist who drew the 4 Marys. So anyway,
is there anything today you want to say you did draw, which nobody gave you credit for as well? This is your opportunity to say, actually, I did that, and it was something. So bear that in mind. So you did in the '60s, and then I think you did some stuff for some of the TV comics, Smash and stuff like that, didn't you? And Lion. Did you just do bits and pieces during the '60s?
I think I drew for Mandy, and I can't remember ever drawing for Mandy. No. That's in a lot of
again, records.
A lot of reference saying that I did. I did do after Queen Shadow in Bunty. I did work for Girl,
right? Yeah,
and that was it wasn't the best strip. It was dances of different countries.
Oh, right, okay.
And
interesting.
It was interesting. And the lady who
what reference work did you do for that? Did you have to learn the dances yourself?
The lady I was talking about, who let me in the first place, Dora Woodward, she was Welsh, and I had to draw Welsh dances of Wales.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't let me go until I got it right. So that was early on. And then I did Bonanza, which I really enjoyed.
Well, that's a massive TV series, wasn't it? It was a massive TV series during the '60s, wasn't it? Bonanza. Yeah.
I did 3 books of Bonanza. Wow. I've got 2 of them. And the last one he didn't like because I've made it too dark. So,
who was that for? Which company?
This was for. I've got them in there.
Yeah, don't worry, it's okay.
But they also did Circus Boy, which one of the artists who was in Link Studio. We had there were two brothers, Bill Pollock and John Pollock.
Right.
Bill Pollock was in the army, in the forces in the war, and he was shot up quite badly. And I think he had to change from drawing with his right hand to his left. But he was such a lovely chap. And John Pollock, his brother, he was a good artist. He did Circus Boy, and a couple of the other artists did. I did Bonanza, a couple of the other stories. And then I went on to football, really.
Yeah, but
Paxton's Powerhouse.
Well, this is what we're going to kind of talk about. That really. How did that come about? Because that was in Scorcher. Scorcher was launched in January 1970, and Paxton's Powerhouse was one of the. It was in the first. How did that job come around to you? Do you remember?
Through Doris White.
Yeah.
As I was saying, all the editors used to come down from Dundee, and they would go out. They would know all the apprentices, all the artists, and they would go out for dinner, which we did as we got older.
Yeah.
So they would know when we were ready to take on work.
Right, yeah.
And the same with Fleetway.
Yeah.
AP as it was then.
Yeah.
And Sid Bicknell was the editor of Scorcher.
Yeah.
And he phoned and said, have you anyone got this new football script? Who do you think would like it? Doris White said, well, try Barrie. And that's how I got.
That's the first ever football strip you did. Yeah. Because you're a bit of a football fan yourself, or have been in the past. Let's not talk about.
We don't need to go there.
I am. Yeah. Tottenham, I'm afraid.
But it was a good fit because you. I mean, as well as being great at drawing that art, you're interested in the subjects as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I love football.
Yeah.
The first match I saw, my dad took me and my brother. We went to Tottenham. That was 1951.
Wow.
I was 11. Bill Nicholson was
playing them, wasn't he?
Actually playing. Alf Ramsey was playing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ted Ditchburn was in goal. Len Dukerman was the centre forward. Eddie Bailey was the inside forward. Harry Clark was the centre half. And we beat Newcastle 7-0.
Wow.
And I thought, that's it.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, my dad was a Tottenham supporter. So, and then the following season.
Did they win the league? Did they win the league in 51? Did they win the league?
Was it?
No, they didn't. They won in 61.
They did the double in 61.
Oh, okay.
That was the 10 years that when Bill Nicholson took over.
Right,
took over, that's right, yeah.
But the following season, it may have been that season, I've got it in a magazine book. We went up to Newcastle, St James Park, and they beat us 7-2. So all this about Spursy,
it was happening for years.
It's been part of your life
for a long while.
And Newcastle had a good team back then, didn't they? They were a really good team. Yeah. So then after that, Paxton's Powerhouse. Then it was Score and Roar was a comic which was launched later on, and then you did Jack of United and Jimmy of City, another famous comic strip.
Started in Score.
Yeah.
Score was in the. Jack was in the front.
Yeah.
Jimmy was in the.
That's right. You had Score and Roar.
Did you turn the comic up?
Yeah. No, that's right. You were meant. Yeah, exactly.
Two parts to it. Yeah.
Well, that was Gil Page.
Gil Page. Okay.
Oh,
interesting. He was the editor. Was he the editor of Score and Roar?
Really good friend. Yeah, lovely man. Well, they're all of them. Bill Graham, Peter Clark, Martin, Dave Hunt, Steve McManus. They were friends. They weren't. You never felt as though you were working for them. We used to go out and have a drink, and the good thing was when they would merge and you'd lose a story. There was always something else. In all those years I worked, I never had an empty. I always had a script.
Well, that shows you because of your guess because of your artwork, obviously number one, but I'm guessing because your diligence in getting stuff in on time as well, because working to deadlines, that's what editors want, don't they? They want somebody they can trust.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I remember when I came back from Spain with Mike Dory, who was out there for 3 months, and Pat Mills got us into Fleetway building, a couple of desks, because I didn't have any of it. I'd sold my house over on the Isle of Wight, went to Spain, then back to the mainland. And I had nowhere to work. I worked in my brother's factory at one stage. So Pat said, well, we'll find a desk in here. And they were putting together 2000 AD.
Right.
Action.
Action.
Yeah.
Sorry. 2000 AD was
later.
Next door. Just up. So Mike and I worked in there for quite a while. And I always remember
what was that like?
One fella came in, he did a morning's work, and they paid him for alterations and rest of it. He went to the pub, got drunk, never saw him again. And I thought, well, you're not going to
last long.
Get much work if you act like that.
Yeah.
So I always made sure that I got work in on time when it was wanted. It might not have been as good as some of the other top artists, but at least you couldn't print an empty page.
No, exactly. Yeah, definitely.
That's no use, is it, at all? No, I mean, so yeah, I mean, after we've got a list of all your stuff here, so we're just going to chuck names at you, and because I think after Jack and Jimmy, because Scorcher finished in '74, it merged into Tiger, so Jack and Jimmy finished. But I think around about then was it you started doing stuff for Wizard, so that would be like DC Thompson with Cast Iron Bill, Skipper Willie. Do you remember those kind of? Yeah,
Cast Iron Bill.
All football stuff. That's the goalie with dogs. The goalkeeper had dogs.
Pickford.
Yeah, Pickford. Yeah, Pickford was one. Yeah.
Cast Iron Bill, I absolutely loved. Had the two dogs sitting either side of the goalpost. Oh, that was a really good, and it's an old story as well.
Yeah, it was.
It was a rehash, and Pickford also
wasn't a rehash.
Had been drawn quite a lot before that.
Yeah, and that's really interesting because the DC Thompson stories, I think they used the ones which were printed previously in Rover and Hotspur, and they brought them back in, didn't they? And they got your art. I mean, that's great. And then you were working. You did Action. Obviously, you got Pat Mills, and you were doing Play Till You Drop and Look Out for Lefty.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you were working on Bullet, I think. Bullet.
DC Thompson.
Yeah, with Kid Cox and Twisty. I mean, it just feels like you were really busy. Do you remember Twisty?
Well,
done so many.
It was.
You must have been so busy, Barrie.
It was just so good to do.
Yeah.
All these stories, different characters, Stark.
Yeah, Stark.
It was just, brilliant. And the thing was that Pat Mills was a great fellow. And we were talking, and I said, I was talking to Peter Clark, who's brought out Bullet, and they were going to use Action, but IPC got in first, so they had to change it to Bullet.
Oh, really interesting.
And I told Pat Mills that I was working for DC Thompson on Bullet. I said, no problem to us. Told Peter Clark, no, we're not keen on that. Don't say anything about what we're doing on Bullet for that.
Yeah,
so
interesting.
But it was comics. They were all, once they were printed, they were all going to sell because they were interesting, good,
Well, Action was like a real game changer, was it, in the comic world? Right. Like grittier, and obviously there was controversy and stuff like that, and and then obviously that was a precursor to 2000 AD and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think you did a few bits for 2000 AD, didn't you? Did you a few little bits for?
I did.
Harlem's Hero, was it Harlem's Heroes? You did.
Well, Harlem's Heroes was Dave Gibbons did it for.
Yeah, you did some
2000 AD.
Yeah.
My one is only
Summer Special. Summer Special. Yeah.
7 pages. Yeah, but I did 3 Judge Dreads.
Oh wow.
First one was based on W.C. Fields, where he jumps off and he said he can land on a steel plate.
Right.
I can't think of the name now. And because he doesn't, he's got this weird idea that he would survive. And the other one was
Have we got it on the list?
The Great Muldoon.
one was a gangster.
Mac 1? Mac 1?
No, that was Kelvin Gosling, I think.
The Great Muldoon. The Great Muldoon.
Muldoon?
Great Muldoon.
Yeah, Great Muldoon. That's
The
it.
Great Muldoon. And then the next one was where they sprayed the children in a ball, and Boyne. It was called Boyne, I think.
Yeah.
And then there was one about brain.
Oh yeah. Oh god. My research. I thought I'd done enough research, but I've seen it somewhere. I can't see where it's gone. Yeah, exactly.
It was a mafia. It was a American
Right. Okay.
gang. And
So you did lots. I mean, around about this sort of time, and then just after that, and I know we were rattling them off, but a big comic which we're big fans of, and it's a DC Thompson comic. And when we interviewed Bill Graham and Martin Lindsay, which was fascinating, they told us actually, even though it's a sport comic, it was supposed to be a football comic. Was Scoop. Yeah. And I know you did a lot of the work for Scoop, and wasn't it at one time you're doing free stories within the Scoop?
Number 1 issue, I did 3. Yeah.
I mean, that's just how was that done? How was that kind of created? The artwork.
That was Stark, Speakings, and this goalie's got
Scots, yeah.
Ben Leaper.
Yeah, Ben Leaper. Yeah.
Well, they worked so far ahead they could stockpile.
Right.
So I'd probably done a complete series on maybe Ben Leaper and Speakings. So I would draw Stark as they needed it.
Oh, I see. Right.
It wasn't. I couldn't do the
on a weekly basis, not like
not for 3 stories.
No,
that's too much. Yeah. What did you think when you first saw the Stark story? Did you, as a football fan, because I mean it was, player for hire like that.
It was interesting. He basically, it was he would play for money.
Yeah.
But if they upset him, the team that he'd scored or he'd won a game for, he played for the opposing team the following week.
Yeah.
And get his own back.
He was quite I mean, it started out like as a bit of a mercenary, but he was quite principled, wasn't he?
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, we never knew who had written the stories.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Apart from later on.
Yeah.
Tom Tully and Ian Rimmer and Kelvin. So we never knew who the DC Thompson writers were. But they were all good stories, I thought.
Brilliant stories, yeah.
Oh, so crikey. So when you were doing Twisty and Kid Cox then, you weren't aware of who was actually writing those scripts?
No. He wasn't my character. It was another artist, a good football artist. It wasn't Mike White. Mike White was a bit later than that, I think.
So you mean you weren't the first person to draw?
I wasn't the first person to draw Kid Cox.
Oh, right. But Twisty, you were the first one to do Twisty.
I think so. Yeah.
How did you approach that when you created a character yourself? Like you're the first person to draw them. How did you do that? Can you remember how you did that?
Not to repeat one you've drawn before.
Yeah.
That helps.
It does help. Yeah.
Well, you would draw a page, all different heads,
right?
And then the editor would look at it. Dave Hunt or Bill Graham would look at it and say, "Yes, we do this. We like number 2."
Oh, right.
And they would say he's 6'3", long hair, whatever.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Well, you do tend to draw similar.
Yeah, of course you do. Yeah.
Similar faces, I suppose.
Yeah.
And people say, "Oh, you look as though you're drawing yourself there." Well, if you want an expression, and you look in the mirror, then that's really the easiest way to do it.
So, are you telling us you are John Stark?
Oh, never had the hair.
Yeah, artist for hire.
Yeah, the artist for hire. Yeah,
Brilliant. And then, then were the Rovers? You did more for like IPC Fleetway because you did the Marx Brothers. You did the Marx Brothers for 3 years. That was Steve and Terry Marx playing for Kingsway. I think Ian Vosper wrote it.
Yeah.
And we were lucky enough today to actually meet Ian Vosper for breakfast.
Well, Ian came to the exhibition.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen him for 30 odd years.
Wow.
And we just had a really nice time just catching up. Good to see him.
Well, that's actually, just as you mentioned it, yeah. So, yeah, you did the exhibition at the Mead Gallery, didn't you, here on the Isle of Wight back in February, and that's when we first met. Yeah.
You came over.
How did that go? How did it go? How was
Very
it
good.
having an exhibition of you? Was it the first time you'd had an exhibition of you? Wow.
Yeah. And they did it so well. Dawn and her daughter Jenna.
Yeah.
And as you walked in, Jenna set it all up. She wouldn't let me help her. And a page I did for Doctor Who was Michael Aspel, distorted Michael Aspel with a book, This Is Your Life. And she put that on us as you walked in. And I looked round to see what she'd done. And I thought, this is my life.
Brilliant.
It was so good how she did it.
It was very special, yeah. I mean, yeah, and the way you laid it out, because you started with Bunty, then you had the Bonanza.
Yeah, right the way through.
Yeah, right the way through.
I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have done it myself. How she did it.
Yeah.
Really, really nice job she did. And I'm working on something now.
Oh.
One of
exclusive.
Somebody came in, Cat Jones. Her partner is David Bradley, and he was in Kes.
Oh,
of course. Yeah.
Where he's got the bird.
Yeah.
Well, he's written the book.
Oh, right.
Oh, wow.
And he's trying to get it published. She saw some work I did on Scorer, fell on the motorbike.
Yeah.
And it's about a boy on a motorbike who's just come out of prison.
Oh, wow.
So I've drawn a strip, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 or 6 frames to go with what he's filming now to publicise the book.
Wow.
So hopefully it will be on YouTube.
Oh, wow, okay. Well, so,
I don't know the name of the title. I don't know the title.
Well, we'll definitely, obviously, keep in touch and we'll get that information and we'll share it with the listeners and the YouTube viewers as well.
Yeah,
on the pod after this as well.
You're still working. You can't stop working, Ian Barrie.
Well, there's no comics left.
I know. Don't tell us that.
Don't.
You'll have us in tears.
Well, it's 2000 AD, but I'm too old. They're all youngsters on there. It was only really Bill Graham, got me right to the end of when I wanted to retire.
Right.
Yeah, because you're doing stuff for Wendy. Was it Wendy? Yeah. So was that early 90s or mid 90s?
That was 90. Well, after Roy.
After Roy, yeah.
I did. Well, that's a bit later.
Yeah. We'll carry on here because we've got the. Obviously, you did stuff. You're doing lots of other stuff, but you did. There was Hot Shot was a comic which was launched in '88, and you did Playmaker. I think you did Andy Steele Playmaker.
Playmaker.
And then you did scorer as well in 1989, didn't you, for about a year with Barrie Tomlinson? 1990, 89, 90?
89.
Yeah.
I did it for a year.
Yeah.
And that was what I always wanted, a newspaper football strip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Barrie Tomlinson rang me and said, the Mirror wants something to go up against Striker in the Sun. Would you be interested? Oh, yes, bro, yeah. And I was working for Fleetway as well at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So he sent me the script. I did the first couple of days. He took it in and they liked it. And I got the job. The problem was it was printed on the sports pages.
Yeah.
And the editor didn't want it because he was losing advertising revenue.
All right.
Oh, yeah, okay. Interesting.
And what I did, that was okay. So he would fit it in wherever he could. One Saturday, obviously the papers come apart. There were 2 frames on one page and 1 frame on the other page.
Right, yeah.
And I thought, well, that's...
Yeah.
That's a bit, it's a bit, why would you do that?
If you're doing your best to work, and then one week it was, because he only had a narrow space, he squeezed it together and you had these long faces.
Oh, wow.
Oh, because it had been distorted on how they
Yeah,
pushed
they
it
were
into the
distorted.
page. Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
And
so your work's not being presented in the best way.
No.
So that's a disappointment, isn't it? Yeah.
And it's hard to explain, but working for the comics, the finish is so much better because of the paper.
Yeah. Quality,
Newspaper is entirely different.
That's right, yeah.
So my line was quite fine because I knew it would reproduce.
Yeah.
It didn't reproduce as well in the comics, in the newspaper.
Yeah.
So I worked towards it to do that. And if you did a dressing room scene, you want to get in everything.
Yeah, the detail.
Yeah.
Discarded bandages and whatever, cans, whatever. I did that, and the editor didn't like it. He photographed it, blew it up, cut it, and repasted it down.
Oh.
Not saying anything, if he had told me, that's fine, I've got no problem. And I loved doing it. I've been reading on Down the Tubes recently that it had 3 million followers. And the girlfriend, who was based on
Ulrika,
Annika Rice.
Yeah.
She had a
She
fan
even
club.
had a fan club.
That's right,
which was more popular, I think, than
the actual.
Yeah.
And as I say, I really like doing the strip. Had a phone call from Dave. Would I like to do more with the Rovers?
David Hunt. Yeah.
And I gave it up. Took that on. It lasted 6 months.
Yeah, because
school lasted 20 years.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
but I can't blame anyone. That was my decision.
Yeah, you make these decisions. It's the right decision at the right time. At that time, nobody's got a crystal ball, have they?
Yeah.
But you took over in the Roy the Rovers weekly comic in October '92 until the end in March '93, didn't you? What was that like doing Roy the Rovers? Because Roy the Rovers is obviously the iconic.
Well, I enjoyed it because it was in full colour, 4 pages a week. I never ever thought, I'll save the comic. That's impossible.
Yeah.
But it never dawned on me that the comic would fold.
Yeah.
I just thought, that's wonderful. We'll go on.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
And
that was the last one to go.
Yeah, it was.
From 2000 AD.
That's right. The last kind of weekly, grown up, and then, but then you when it came back in the Match of the Day
Well, I did monthly.
Yeah.
I did some of the monthlies.
Because we did the first, when the weekly finished, we then got Roy the Rovers monthly. And I remember that because it was a very drastic change, because obviously they actually used your artwork in it. I'm not quite sure if it was, but it had the old Roy the Rovers banners, and then it went to the new artists. And I think for a lot of us, it was very harsh. In all honesty, let me be, just in case anybody's listening, because all artists, as far as I wish I could draw as well as any of those guys. But you did the first, and then the last month they also brought you back, didn't they, in the monthly to finish the story as well.
Yeah,
and it was in shoot.
Yes,
as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I've got a couple of pages in there from shoot.
And did you do a couple of them in shoot as well? Right, I wasn't aware of that. Interesting.
Gosh. And then,
as I say, I loved doing it, and it was a shock. Really, I got the publicity, and I shouldn't have done, because Mike White,
he did
it for 8 years before me, and he was superb artist.
Yeah.
You know, there was no reason really for me to take it over.
Yeah.
What was the reason? Was it just that they just wanted to revamp? Because I think Mike carried on doing another strip. I think, didn't he?
Yeah, Mike carried on doing another strip in there. It was a new look boost.
Yeah. They did that from time to time,
and it just didn't work.
Yeah, but as I say, I think it was more the industry. Not. There's no blame on the quality of the publication at the time. It was a great. When we look at it now, it's a great.
Yeah,
it was a great publication.
By that time, as you say, unfortunately, we kind of lost.
Kids were in computer games, Sky TV.
Children were on their phones. And all the games they could buy.
Yeah,
it just.
And we often talk about it as well, like for us as well. If you're a big football fan as a child, like in our era, you know, there was one live football game on a year. But by the time the end of Roy the Rovers, you know, the Premier League was just coming in. There, you know, even ITV, BBC, there was more now live league football as well. So it's a weird thing, but I think Roy the Rovers, Tiger, and these other comics, they helped you with your football fix. Whereas it got to a stage where actually, I mean, and if you look at it now, and the saturation of football, I mean, there's hardly a day that goes by where there's not a live football match if you really want to watch. So, yeah, I think it was a very difficult era at that point.
Yeah, but you definitely did during the golden period, weren't you? Yeah.
But I always think now, I mean, we weren't special. We could draw.
Well, we think you're special.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not sure I agree with you, but yeah.
Well, we could. It's a gift. I know. What's happening to the children now? You know, we weren't, especially those years that we were born to be strict cartoon artists. It was just something that we could all do. What about the children now who could be as better than us? They've got nothing. I could have worked for probably 30 comics when I finished my apprenticeship. Girls, boys, youngsters, not kiddies.
No.
But there was 15 comics. There was Oddens. Also.
Holton Press.
Holton's as well.
Eagle.
And there were so many comics you could work for. Kids haven't got that now.
No.
What would I have done if I'd been born now, or if I'd been in my 30s now, 20s, 30s?
I know. With a mortgage and stuff like that. No, it's very hard. It must be very hard for artists now.
I always remember when we were doing Enid Blyton for Egmont, and one of the artists said to me, "We love drawing." He said, "Can you believe we're sitting here drawing comic strips? We're actually getting paid for it." I mean, it wasn't work. I never ever thought it was work.
That's amazing.
It was something that I just loved doing.
How long did it, just talking a bit about the process, how long would it take you to do, on average, say like a one page, if it was? How long would it take you to kind of preliminarily draw?
Well, Roy was four pages in colour a week. So
full week, was that a full week?
I'd finish it probably on the Thursday evening, Friday morning, take it in, or whenever it had to be in.
And like earlier on when we were talking to you, and you said about Stark and DC Thompson, I think as you said that was different with IPC. Though it really was. You were then when you were drawing Roy, you were drawing that week's episode sort of the week before. So yeah,
it was coming out the following week. Yeah. So you had to be done. Had to get it in.
And so then for the monthly, because I must admit I didn't realise. I only thought you literally did the first few pages for the first monthly and the last few pages in the last monthly. Again, that must have been, if you were doing that, must have been weird because there was the monthly comic, and then, like you say, there was also the weekly shoot, which was 2 pages.
Yeah.
But was that just solely that was shared amongst artists, or were you doing that in shoot and the monthly for Roy the Rovers?
I can't. I really can't remember now. But if you had a weekly strip to do, and then you got summer special, or Christmas annual, then you fitted it in at the same time as doing 3 pages, 4 pages a week, because originally they were all in black and white. So it was a bit quicker to do.
Sure. Yeah, that's something I've always wondered, because when you see, in my mind, but I'm a bit of a dreamer, Barry. I always think that there's these archives of all these stories that were just printed in black and white, but you guys, they were all in glorious colour. But of course, they weren't, obviously.
You are a dreamer.
I am a dreamer.
Well, all Playmaker was black and white originally.
Yeah.
It was only later on. I've got some in there. Somebody else coloured them.
Right. Oh, okay.
And there's quite a difference between their colouring and mine.
Yeah.
Were you always happy with the colouring?
No.
I should have. It's a leading question, really.
Yeah.
And that was Gil Page.
Right. Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. Because he wrote it.
Right. Okay.
It's a pseudonym in the comic. I can say that now.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you can.
Because he's no longer with us.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But he was a lovely man. He said, "We've had these colours. What do you think?" I said, "Yeah, they're okay." He said, "You don't sound too happy." I said, "Well, I'd love to do it, Gil." "Okay, you do it."
Right.
So after that, they were all in colour. I've been looking at them, and I think I tried too hard on Roy.
Right.
Because some of the Playmaker stuff I really quite, well, I shouldn't say it, but I really like what I did.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you should be proud. Well, trust me,
you're
we're here
fans.
because we love your work. So if you can't love it,
But it wasn't that popular, I don't think. But it kept going for.
Well, he did go for quite a few years.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, I'm a big Playmaker fan. Actually, myself personally, I really enjoyed it, and I know one of our other presenters, Gull, he's a big fan, and it was always one of those ones when you kind of look often, and as they did, when a story ended, you can't actually, as readers and fans. And by the way, I should admit at this stage, I'm an adult by now, so I'm not sure I should be
now, or you mean
back then when I was reading the story, but you know, the hope was like, oh, they've stopped Playmaker, but would Melchester Rovers buy Andy Steele, and so that him as a character,
you're hoping he pops up somewhere else,
still live in a different story, which didn't happen. But I mean, for me, Playmaker in the modern history was, I think, a very big story, and I really enjoyed it personally.
Well, around that time, it was Playmakers weren't thought of.
No, that's right. Yeah,
and it was Gil who said, he said, "I've written this story about it." But I don't know. Maybe the boy was too young.
He was 15, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah,
he was 15.
That's right. Yeah,
and he was. Although we've got this.
Yeah, the Arsenal Dowman. Yeah,
Dowman, Thomas Dowman.
Playing for Liverpool now.
Oh yeah, the goal he scored. Yeah,
sorry, I was just I was thinking.
But he was made captain of the club when he was 16.
Yeah.
So it was a bit.
It's not that far fetched, is it? There's been
But they were. I mean, all the stories were fairly similar. DC Thompson did one called Superstar.
Yeah.
which I really liked.
Was that in Scoop? Was that in Scoop, I think?
Was it in Scoop?
I think it went in Scoop, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I really liked doing that. He ended up going to Italy,
Right. Yeah.
and Andy still ended up going to Spain.
Spain. That's right.
With Kevin Radner.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been looking at all the old.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
It was impressive in
all the
your
old
memory.
images. And I think, well, there's 3 of them together. I've probably got that wrong.
What, in Playmaker?
But later on, Rocky.
Oh no! So
Yeah,
in
the 3
Melcho,
of them.
so in Roy the Rovers. So in the end, you had Rocky Race,
Yeah.
and then you had
Yeah,
Paul
but-
Delroy and Nintendi,
Paul- that's
which
it.
was Delroy, and then of course they signed Melandro, I think it
Melandro,
was,
yeah.
from Brazil,
Yeah.
and that was the front 3. So they were the kind of
Yeah.
three
Towards the end.
superstars,
Yeah.
and that
So
was
it
at
all
the
kind
end of the month.
It's all kind of repeated.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who it was with. Was it there was an Irish boy in
Yeah, Declan
McCaffrey.
McCaffrey.
found.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, so that was then in the match of the day. Yes.
Match of the
yeah,
day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
again, so later on in the end, then obviously the Melchester forward line was Declan and Rocky Race
Declan.
up front. Yeah, Declan
Yeah, that was
McCaffrey.
it. That was the 3.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I always remember that.
Yeah.
Sorry. Declan,
Don't
Blackie
apologise.
Gray, what goes and sees him playing in Ireland.
Yeah.
And Blackie says, well, I think you're really good, but you're a bit, I can't remember, it's either you're either left-footed or right. And he said, well, I had to play like that. He said, because look, the sole's falling off my other foot. He said, that's the reason I wasn't using that. So, yeah.
That was Ian, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ian Rimmer.
Yeah,
Yeah, Ian Rimmer. Yeah,
Ian
Rimmer.
Yeah,
Ian Rimmer.
yeah.
I've got to say, I think we were talking earlier on, to produce a story like that, just 2 pages a month, and actually you've got to give Ian, I mean, your artwork obviously really brought it to life, but Ian, I think for me, that was some of the most powerful script writing
Yeah.
when you take into account he managed to get such depth, but he only had 2 pages a month.
Yeah.
And like we said, I mean, one of our favourite sort of stories in the pod, and it was originally called this from DC Thompson, was We Are United, when it was in Champcon. They had 8 pages. So, of course, that enabled them to do that. As you
Yeah,
said,
of
when you were
course.
drawing Raw, you had 4
Yeah.
pages. To get that kind of depth in
2
just
pages.
2 pages per
pages.
month, you know.
He kind of looked at things in a different way.
Yeah.
And he would let you put the story together.
Right.
That's what I liked about it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there was one about Rocky's sister when she went to the doctors.
Yeah.
Because she was mentally, she was worried and lost her mum and all
That's
the
right,
rest of
yeah.
it. And he said, "Oh, we couldn't get me tickets for the cup final."
Yeah, that's right. Yes,
She
exactly.
runs out the door.
Yeah. Because basically
But
she's everywhere she goes is
Everywhere she
football.
goes.
Oh, right.
And then
Okay.
she's at the
Sure.
doctors, and of
It's
course,
Rocky.
he drops this in that, you know,
But
can you get me
that's
tickets.
he.
Yeah.
They were quite.
Yeah.
They were more grown-up stories.
That's
Yes.
right. Yeah, they
Yeah,
are,
yeah, definitely more adult.
I mean, the one that's really poignant as well in that era was when at the end of Mel Park, and he shows the old fan who basically passes away at the ground, you know, which is really
That was really,
was-
incredible. Yeah, really sad. But yeah, so thinking about, obviously, you know, you being a great illustrator yourself, were there any kind of artists who you really admired? Can you think of some of them, you know, early days up to your whole career?
Frank Bellamy and
Okay. Yeah.
Frank
Dan Dare, wasn't it? Yeah.
Frank
Hampson.
Frank Hampson and Frank Bellamy, they were 2 that I really liked. Of course, then I worked with John.
Yeah, John Burns.
John Burns.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And he is, I'm not saying he's, well, I just love his work.
Yeah,
He did such a wide
variety.
of work for the continent. He worked Dutch companies, German. He was just a superb artist. Not so much the American. I mean,
so much American.
Miller, Frank Miller, they're all brilliant artists, but because I was that much older, I didn't really get into Marvel.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult for me because I admire it, but it's not a genre. I mean, I am solely, even like you talking about, your work in Bunty and Bonanza. That's why I have to keep my mouth shut because I'm just purely football comics. And I used to get Victor as well. And there were big like Stark and Victor or the We Are United story. I didn't read any of the other stories. I didn't read any of the non-football stories. Just the football stories. Yeah. Which is why obviously I was in love with Roy the Rovers because it was all football.
Yeah.
Hence, you don't stop talking about football comics now.
Yeah.
So what about thinking about what the stories you really enjoyed the most illustrating? What stories and characters can you kind of you don't have to pick?
Play Till You Drop.
Play Till You Drop. Yeah, that was a great story.
That was good. And the Superstar.
Yeah, Superstar.
I enjoyed doing that. And then because of I did do 3 or 4 years for Looking.
Oh yeah, because you did Knight Rider, Wurzel Gummidge, 18,
Street Hawk.
Oh wow.
Wurzel Gummidge, I stood in for Mike Noble. Loved doing that.
Oh wow.
But I enjoyed Knight Rider. That was one of my favourites. And the 18. Street Hawk was good.
Imagine, because they were so massive programs.
They were massive,
huge, weren't
Saturday
they?
night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so you were illustrating them at that time when they were on TV on Saturday night.
Yeah.
I mean, but I suppose we've spoken about it before, but you weren't getting credited for doing that artwork at the time.
Yes. You could put your name on.
Did they?
Right.
Okay.
Because John worked for them. John worked for Looking.
John
Burns, Martin Asbury, Arthur Ransom, Jim Bakey.
Wow.
But when they rang me and said, "We've got $1 Million Man, would you be interested?"
Right.
So I did a page.
Wow.
And Jim Bakey did a page.
$6 Million Man.
And Jim got it.
Right.
Oh, okay.
He was a superb artist. And the editor rang me and said, "No, that's fine." He said, "Next one that comes up, we'll give you a ring." And the next one was Knight Rider. And I got it. So that was
amazing.
That was better, really, for me.
Yeah.
They do cars as well, and you're a big car fan.
Yeah.
So it's
I do Steve Cram's life story.
Yeah.
Barry Sheen, The Fridge, Refrigerator.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Perry was
Chicago Bears,
So
loads.
None of it in colour though. That was
Right.
the only thing.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. It was good to do, and it was a break from football.
Yeah.
I was probably doing at the same time football libraries for DC Thompson.
Yeah.
They were good because they were. I don't know. There was something about the script writers for Thompson's. They were really good script writers.
Well,
good stories.
Well, Fred Baker used to do some of them, didn't we? And was it Ron Carpenter when we interviewed Bill Graham and Martin Lindsay?
Yeah.
They were telling us some of the script writers. I don't know which ones would have scripted what you were doing, but the Football Picture Story Muttley's big, massive fans of those. Yeah, definitely, yeah. And then you did work for Doctor Who as well, didn't you? Doctor Who magazine, yeah.
Well, John started it. Well, I did for the weekly magazine. I did John Pertwee. That was good. Great face to draw.
Yes, yeah. What a character face, yeah.
That was a change of mind thing. I've forgotten all these. There's quite a few titles.
I'm not going to test you. Don't worry, it's okay.
And then John started. Colin Baker wrote the story. John started it. He drew the first. Well, they say it's 26. I say it's 25 because I'm certain that I did page 26. It's a monster with Colin Baker, the penguin, and the character down here. And for some reason, I've always thought that was mine because I've got a page that John drew with a distorted Colin Baker, which they didn't print.
Right.
and that should have been this page, I think.
Yeah.
And when Ian Vosper came over, I said, look, will you look at it, Ian? If you look at the head of Colin Baker that I've drawn, look at John's on the previous ones. Who do you think drew that? He said, well, that's your head. The hair.
Yeah.
You could tell.
I said, you look at the hair on John's compared to mine. So I'm convinced it was mine. Anyway, John drew the first pages, and the editor rang me and told me what had happened. Would you like to finish it? So that was it. I had a lot of John's pencils to work from, and a couple of his, and one page of his that was inked in. So I had so much to go from.
Right, okay. So that's why it looks so
to
similar.
use on the remaining pages. So it was a real help. And then when it was printed in colour, it looked so much better. I think the whole story.
Interesting stuff.
And I'm a bit out of it over here, regarding shows, but we've had 2 Comic-Cons, and the second one I went to, Colin Baker came over.
Oh wow.
And I thought, I'll go up and see him.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't recognise me. I did recognise him. And I said, hi, Colin. I'm Barrie Mitchell. Do you remember? He was saying, oh, yes, nice to see you. So I had all the artwork with me from the book. And I said, would you like to take some artwork? So he said, oh, yes. Yeah. So he had 6 pages of artwork. So, but it was nice.
You're a very generous man, Barrie. You are a very generous man.
He wrote it.
Yeah. It's nice.
That's
It's
great.
nice to share it.
It's amazing. Yeah, I know it's brilliant.
I mean, I love doing it. So, and to see him again.
It's nice.
We did a signing down in Bristol.
Right.
I mean, I didn't want my signature. They all wanted Colin Baker's.
Well, yeah.
It was mainly ladies.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But it was good. I enjoyed doing that.
And you said the last work you did then was for DC on Wendy then, and that
was
yeah. How did that come about then? That was
after Roy. I did Captain Scarlet.
Oh, okay.
That was through Gil Page,
okay.
because it wasn't Fleetway. It was another company.
Right.
Didn't last too long. I did Kojak in Target.
Yes. Yeah.
And I've got a complete set of Target comics. It's only 19.
Yeah.
With the giveaways.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I did Captain Scarlet, Kojak, and then Doctor Who, and then nothing. I had a phone call from Bill Graham. Would you like to do Wendy? Try Wendy. And I did a couple of illustrations for him. Gave me a script, and that took me from about up to 2012 when I retired.
Oh
wow, that's brilliant. Yeah.
From about 10 years, 10, 12 years I was working.
Did you really?
Wow.
Yeah. He saved me.
Yes.
There you go. Thanks, Bill.
Yeah,
Thanks,
good.
Bill. Yeah, thanks for saving Barrie.
Great fella.
Yeah.
Right,
and I spoke to him a couple of years ago.
Right.
Through Martin Lindsay.
Yeah.
Martin Lindsay was doing something for TalkSport when we were going to win the World Cup.
Yeah.
And I drew Les Ferdinand, Stephen Gerrard, Wayne Rooney, and John Chelsea captain.
John Terry.
Oh, John Terry. Yeah.
John Terry.
Yeah.
As Bobby Moore holding the.
Right. Yeah.
I did the 3 players holding up. Who was the captain? Stephen Gerrard. No.
Oh, Steve.
Stephen. Yeah. Or John Terry. Yeah.
Was it Capello? I don't know. 2010.
This was
20, even later, wasn't it? Yeah.
Martin was involved in this with TalkSport. They had T-shirts printed.
Oh wow!
There's a garage somewhere
with we won the World Cup.
Yeah.
with the years crossed out.
Yeah, it's printed on the T-shirt. There's a garage somewhere with probably 100,000 T-shirts.
Well, you know what I think, as being, I'm sure, passionate Scottish fans, I'm sure Martin and Bill aren't disappointed about that.
But they probably really enjoyed that. Actually,
Well, that's brilliant. I mean, we're coming to the end now of the interview, Barrie. I mean, it's been fantastic talking about your long and varied career. I'm sure all our listeners and viewers, would love this interview. Have you got a message for any of those people who would have, seen your illustrations over the years? Any message out there to your fans, your many fans, thousands of fans?
Well, just thank you for buying the comics, for being so interested in them. I'm sure, like you, I would still be loving drawing football comics somewhere, a football strip. Can I say this quickly? A few years ago, there was a chap called, I think his name was Mike Delios. I've got them in there, copies in there of a comic. I did a cover for Dead Skin about this new comic. He wasn't paid. I wasn't paid. This chap, I think his name was Mike Dennis, he'd asked Fleetway and DC Thompson if he could use the artwork to make it. Was quite a good idea. All the old artwork, Stark, Bobby's got Bobby has the Blues, Tony Harding's work, all these strips, put them together and have them playing against each other. It was quite a good idea. And
sounds amazing.
How he got away with it, I've got no idea. I had a complete set of Scoop. Oh, could I borrow those? He said, I'll get them back to you. Never saw them again. I've only got one copy, which is #1 Scoop. So if that, it was all to do with UEFA as well, this comic that was coming out. If that could have been going now, which I would love it to be, but there's nothing. So I appreciate all the readers, and I love doing them as much as you loved reading them, and I wish I was still doing it.
Well, I think I was going to say, without Jed, sorry mate, I can honestly say that I'm pretty sure that most of us, certainly all of our podcast listeners and our YouTube viewers, wish that there was still something out there. And trust me, I know, because in all fairness, but you would be one of the top names of the artists that we would want you to contribute. And it's amazing to hear that, because one of the discussions that we often hear is of those worlds colliding. So when we were reading our comics like Roy the Rovers, we always wanted to see Johnny Dexter's Danefield United play Roy Race's Melchester Rovers. And like you're saying, Scorcher, you wanted to see Bobby of the Blues against Jack and Jimmy. We wanted to see these stories. And to hear you saying that, I mean, well, I'm a dreamer. I am a dreamer, and I believe there is a market, but Matt's the realist and he keeps on keeping me in check. But that what you just said, trust me, everybody would be appreciative of what you just said there. And we all wish that was the case as well.
But the realist in me, Mr. Pessimist, what we're thankful is that we've got all this body of work which you did create, which people can go back, and we go back and we read and reread again. So, we thank you, and we thank all the creators that did all that work, and just kind of, it's been a great honour interviewing you today, meeting you again. So we'd like to say, on behalf of British Football Comic Podcast, thank you, Barrie Mitchell. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you.
Wow, what a great conversation that was. We call them interviews, but they're actually conversations. So a couple of things, just briefly, Mute, before I kind of say to you. I mean, just the thing that always makes me laugh, because we had a similar experience with David Skew, to hear Barry going on about being associated with a story that he's got nothing to do with him whatsoever.
Oh yeah, there was
which
that was the Four Marys. Yeah, I know.
yeah, which just always makes me smile. But again, just listening to, I don't be careful because I know you've got a couple of things to say. Just
No,
the
go on.
wealth
No,
of
go on.
things that he worked on the characters, and if I might be some bold, just hearing him talk about the Knight Rider stuff, because obviously I'm not sure, he's quite a car enthusiast, and Wurzel Gummidge, which I know is away from the football stuff, but to hear that side, and I always think of Barry as the premier, or one of the top football artists, but obviously his range is much wider than that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think that's what I kind of take away. I know there's a few bits in the interview. I think Brainy's Bombers was the one he was trying to think of about the Brainy one.
Yeah.
But as you say, it's how he remembers. To be fair, don't blame me. He was looking at a list which I'd collated beforehand as well. It's just so many characters, so many stories, companies as well. DC and IPC Fleetway. Obviously he spoke very highly of both the companies. Both work slightly different. He's clearly really good friends with Bill Graham. Talking about these early days at Link Studios when he's an
Yeah,
apprentice
amazing.
with John Burns, and he would have been 18,
Yeah,
and then serving his apprenticeship and then getting his first job, and all the way up to Wendy in the end in
yeah,
2012, and I think and then he's still doing bits and pieces now. But
yeah.
yeah,
It's, yeah,
it was just, and what was nice, it's the first one we've done face to face, isn't it, as well? So that was nice for us
yes,
as well,
yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah,
That was
yeah,
a different kind of vibe as well, because it felt more
yeah.
kind of personal. But so again, so thankful to Barry for
Oh,
giving us the time, and I think and I'm really glad for him that he's managed to be able to kind of tell his story out to the wider world, really, to all
yeah,
these
definitely.
thousands and thousands of fans. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's brilliant. It was
yeah.
brilliant.
I mean, and as we say often, I mean, Barry he was an amazing host. Let me be clear. Such a fantastic for him to invite us into his home like that. Um, and just, yeah, I think we was an hour. And trust me, obviously, as you all know, we focus mainly on, well, on the football. We did
Mm.
touch across, but we didn't delve. And I think you could easily interview Barry, even on more football stuff, for another hour. And of course, imagine how much more gold there would be for all the other wonderful drawings and additions, as you mentioned a few of them. I mean, the Wendy alone. I mean, I think that spent at the end of his career working on that for
Yeah,
many years. So
years. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's well, fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So I think we are to our podcast listeners. I really hope that you've enjoyed hearing about our amazing day trip and listened to that interview. Just, we are going to say goodbye to you. But please, if you do get a chance, because this pod isn't over, but this is where it does become a bit of a red button exclusive or YouTube exclusive, because as I say, we're going to say goodbye to you because it's going to end now, but look to YouTube. Now, over to YouTube. I should have paused a little bit more because I'm always trying to test Mute button's editing skills. That's the problem. So, Mute, after the interview, I mean, I'm struggling to recollect what happened next.
So it's just after that we started packing away. Then Barry's walking back into one of his bedrooms to be converted into an art studio, and I just said to him, Barry, is there any chance that we can actually see you do some drawing, do some illustrating? He said, oh yeah, look, anything for you, Matt, anything. So this is what happened next.
Oh my God.
So this is the stuff which Barry was just talking about.
Oh, this is just...
And
Wow,
they
that's
want her
incredible.
to look like Julie
Julie
Walters.
Walters.
This is when she's younger.
Yeah.
and they want me to do not going to move that.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Now she's drawn something for me to copy, and she wants this. It's a back view of the old boy, and he's holding up a picture of when he was younger, holding his arm out with the bird on his arm.
Oh, okay, yeah.
From Kes.
From the film, yeah.
And she is supposed to she's got a Mary Quant hairstyle. So it'll be something like that.
Wow, that's amazing. You know, that's just taking you 3 minutes to do that. It's incredible.
There is.
Can you knock out a few Roy the Rovers for us in the next 5 minutes? Can you knock out a few Roy the Rovers for us in the next 5 minutes? That's amazing. Look at that.
That's what it will.
That's what we're, yeah.
Will be.
Brilliant.
Can't remember the last time I drew Roy.
That's amazing. Look at that. That's incredible.
Wow. Oh my God.
one.
Wow.
And that's through my wrong glasses on.
It was where you couldn't even see,
That is
was it?
unbelievable. Oh. Oh my God. Oh, Barrie,
You're gonna cry.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, that is unreal.
Shall we sit to the camera? Wow.
Well,
Wow.
do you know something? It's a
Go on.
few days since that happened. I think I got away with it. I'm not going to lie. I actually, at one point, kind of just to see Barrie Mitchell working, Matt Mute was laughing his head off because he could see I was actually welling up. And then, of course, he started doing the second the picture. And I wasn't even aware of what was going on there. But, you know, I will
you got it there.
forever, yeah, I will forever, obviously, be
That's
one of my
amazing.
most treasured things. But yeah, it was just amazing, wasn't it? And well, Mute, I mean,
Well, I mean, I did that throwaway comment at the end when he was doing that picture, that Kez picture, and then I just didn't think anything of it. You know, it's just one of my crap jokes. And then I think you gave me a nudge and went, look, what's he doing? What's he doing? And then that's when I started filming.
Yeah.
Thinking, oh my God. And then, I mean, even me, then when he stopped and he started to write to Paul, thanks for coming over. I mean, blimey, I think I would have been a blubbering wreck. And then I still had the wherewithal to actually film you.
Film
I
it,
mean,
yeah.
it was, I mean, I think that's just tantamount to the type of
Oh.
person Barrie is. You know,
yeah,
you know,
completely.
we've gone over there. It all, you know, I know I went to his exhibition and it was absolutely amazing, but he's only met me twice. He's met Paul once, but he's done that, and I don't think you can put into words what that meant to you. I
No,
mean, what it meant for me to see him doing it for you, it was mind blowing.
Yeah.
Just yeah, what a great, very kind man. Yeah. A great artist as well, by the way.
Oh, I mean,
But yeah.
that's the thing. I mean, honestly, though, I mean, when he was doing the Kes thing, I must admit, I couldn't believe, I mean, and the Roy as well, actually, how quick.
Oh,
And you know, and he was only really doing kind of a brief
yes.
outline, but there's still the detail and everything there. And I you know,
With his wrong
flabbergasted.
glasses.
Yeah,
Did you remember
and
that bit as well?
standing, yeah, and
With his wrong-
standing
and
up.
standing up.
Yeah, so with his wrong glasses and standing up, and I'm you know, I'm like,
Left-handed. He's
do
probably
you know,
left-handed.
I'm sorry, I know people are just think, oh, you just going to keep on showing this, but trust me, for me to do that myself, and it wouldn't be as good, you know, and I've attempted, I have shared some of my attempts in the past, but that would take me ages to try and copy. And also, as I say, I could only do that copy to actually just say to Barrie, oh, would you do a picture of Roy? And he just stands there, as you say, with his wrong glasses, standing up. He doesn't draw standing up. And when he was doing it, he thought, oh, I haven't drawn Roy for a long while. I
I
can't
know.
remember what it looks like. Well, do you know what, Barrie? You got his likeness well bang on there. It's it was just an amazing experience. And I hope we're not gushing too much, but at the same time, the right amount. I hope you know, understand we do feel very privileged to have witnessed
Definitely,
that and
100%.
kind of representing, you know, all the fans
Yeah.
of the podcast, but the Facebook groups as well. I mean, and as we always say, we hold all these artists and the people that have contributed in high esteem. But you know, without, and I'm not going to, because it's not fair, because who you consider to be the worst artist in these comics, I would give my right arm to be able to draw as well as that. But I definitely think, you know, to say the best would be difficult, but Barry's going to always be in that conversation, right?
It's difficult to beat, I think, is a fair thing to say.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
And what an amazing day. Ian Vosper in the morning, Barrie Mitchell in the afternoon. And you, it was pretty good being with you as well. And it was sad that no one else of the team could make it, but it's a long way for other people to come. We did miss them, but yeah, no, it's just an incredible day.
Yeah, was absolutely amazing. Well, I don't think there's anything really else to say apart from we will be back with our normal boring feature comic, just talking about comics. I'm afraid
they're not boring. They're not boring. You're not selling this at all. We want
No,
people to watch the
obviously our
rest.
normal good quality pods that you give us great feedback to, but of course I can't help but feel that this one was just a little bit special.
It definitely was. Yeah, yeah.
So, shall we do the Berrigan?
Let's do the bear again.
Goodbye.
See ya.